Week 7 is upon us already, and the New York football teams are all in action. On Sunday at 1 p.m., the offensively challenged Tennessee Titans head to Buffalo to take on the streaky Bills, who are fresh off a nail-biting win over the Jets. The Titans are 1-4, and a big reason for that is the surrender cobra, Will Levis. The Titans have lost 3 of their 4 games by no more than 7 points, and in each of those losses, Levis has turned it over at least once, and occasionally in embarrassing fashion. In close games, taking care of the ball is critical, and who knows how the Titans season would be going if Levis could learn to value the football. The game the Titans won, Levis was knocked out with a shoulder injury, and backup Mason Rudolph was the anti-Levis, with conservative throws, no turnovers, and a heavy run attack. Rudolph guides the Titans' sleigh again this week as Levis is out with a shoulder sprain. I don't expect the Titans to play it as conservatively this week, since Rudolph has had a week of practice reps with the first team, rather than having to come into the game in relief. But I do expect the Titans' offense to continue to suck. Rudolph wasn't a starting caliber quarterback in Pittsburgh. It is more of a game manager type of quarterback than one that will put the team on his shoulders. He'll be throwing to a couple of legendary receivers that are a bit past their prime in DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. Hopkins has been solid this season, but Ridley has disappeared after a big week 1. The Titans' running attack, which was once formidable with current Raven Derrick Henry, is now less of a power running game and more finesse with former Cowboy Tony Pollard leading the way. Pollard has been solid but unspectacular this season, averaging around 4.3 yards per carry, and he has yet to break 100 yards rushing this season in a single game. He's been splitting the running duties with second-year back Tyjae Spears, but Spears is out this week with a hamstring injury. Third-year back Julius Chestnut will see some spot carries, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Titans don't look to bring in another back from their practice squad for this matchup against a Buffalo run defense that has been fairly soft against the run, with one of the worst yards allowed per carries average in the league. Defensively, the Titans have been surprisingly solid, where they allow the 5th fewest yards per carry and are number 1 against the pass. Some of the passing results probably have to do with game flow, but as I mentioned, the Titans have been in almost every game they have lost. However, they don't generate a ton of QB pressure and don't create turnovers. And who do they play this week? Only one of the best quarterbacks at avoiding QB pressure and who has yet to throw a pick this year. That's right, I didn't stutter. Josh Allen has not thrown an interception in over 150 pass attempts. He does have the only 2 turnovers the Bills' offense has had all season, including one incredibly bad fumble, but overall, the Bills simply take care of the ball, which means they take care of business, mostly. The passing game also gets a boost from the recent trade for Amari Cooper after the Bills missed out on getting Davante Adams. So that gives Josh Allen a true number 1 target on offense. However, Allen has been spreading the ball around beautifully this season, with 5 receivers in double-digit receptions. So will Allen feel the need to feed the number 1 guy more? Will that lead to poor decisions and throws into coverage? Will he fall back in love with the deep ball and start ignoring his checkdowns again? I don't see that being a problem, especially for this game. The Bills get James Cook back, have established rookie Ray Davis as a true backfield threat, and have one of the best running quarterbacks in the NFL. So look for the Bills to continue their balanced offense, where they have passed the ball just 49% of the time. Defensively, the Bills get Big Ed Oliver back, so he should help shore up that leaky run defense, while the Bills likely will continue to create turnovers even without Will Levis under center. I think the Titans keep it close for a bit, but the Bills pull away for a 30-14 win. All right, next up is another 1 p.m. game with the 3-2 Eagles heading to MetLife for a divisional matchup with the 2-4 Giants. The Eagles are fresh off an ugly win over the Browns, where Jalen Hurts looked better than he has for most of the season, but the Eagles still only managed 20 points against one of the worst teams in the NFL. I know that Giants fans are down on Daniel Jones, but take a look at these 2 stat lines and tell me which QB is the guy just 2 years removed from a Super Bowl appearance and which guy is Daniel Jones. Pretty much identical. So either the Eagles' offense has been bad or Daniel Jones has been good. I would say it's the former. The Eagles' offense looks bad. After the Week 1 win against the Packers, A.J. Brown went down with an injury, and the Eagles went on to lose to the Falcons on a last-second Kirk Cousins touchdown. Scored just 15 points against the Saints defense that is among the league's worst, then scored just 16 points against the Bucs and 20 against the Browns. Worse yet, despite Hurts looking better against the Browns, the Eagles failed to get their star acquisition Saquon Barkley involved much at all. Now they head into MetLife, set to face Barkley's former team, in one of the best defenses so far this season. It's likely that the Eagles' offensive struggles will continue, as Hurts seems to really miss Jason Kelsey's blitz and has struggled to read coverages because that plays right into the strengths of the Giants' defense. Azeez Ojulari has been one of the bigger surprises for the Giants, filling in admirably with Kayvon Thibodeaux on IR, while Brian Burns has been wreaking havoc after being rescued from Carolina. The secondary has been solid as well, with rookie Drew Phillips returning last week, but Adoree Jackson will be out for this game. The Giants' defense almost single-handedly won the Bengals game last week, but the offense regressed, and the Giants dropped that game 17-7. Speaking of the offense, Daniel Jones, after a couple promising weeks, slid back into old habits with a costly red zone interception and several misses on deep balls. But it wasn't all on him, as Greg Joseph missed 2 field goals, one of them being a game-tying attempt in the fourth quarter that seemed to change the entire complexion of the game. Malik Nabers returns for the Eagles game, however, so that brings a major boost to the Giants' passing game. The run game also gets some help with Devin Singletary's return, and rookie Tyrone Tracy will continue to get carries as long as he produces. If Daniel Jones can play like he did against the Seahawks and Cowboys, and Malik Nabers shows no rust, then the Giants have a very real shot of winning this game, provided they can slow down Saquon Barkley. I think this one goes down to the wire, and the Giants squeak one out at home, 28-24. Finally, the Jets get the late game on Sunday as they travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers, who have just made a change at quarterback despite having a 4-2 record. While Justin Fields has played well overall, he struggled a bit throwing the ball last week against the Raiders, and Russell Wilson has been lurking all year. It was initially thought that Wilson would be the de facto starter, but then the Steelers traded for Fields and the obligatory QB controversy began. Mike Tomlin has said that Fields will also get some snaps in this one, but I can't think of a single scenario where intentionally playing 2 different quarterbacks in the same game made sense. The Steelers will need to pick one and stick with one if they want to continue to win games. It's possible that Tomlin had concerns about Fields going up against the Jets defense that is number 3 against the pass and number 3 in sacks. But Fields is much more mobile than Wilson at this stage of their careers. So relegating Fields to the old Cordell Stewart slash role doesn't seem like the best idea. The Steelers will likely need to lean on Najee Harris a bit more in this one, but the Jets are also stout against the run, despite letting the Bills run wild last week. So it will likely be a challenge for the Steelers to move the ball Sunday night. Defensively, the Steelers are not as formidable as they were in previous years. They don't defend the pass well, and they don't get to the quarterback a lot, despite having one of the best pass rushers in the NFL in TJ Watt. But they do get interceptions, where they currently have 7, which is good for 4th in the league. They are stingy against the run, allowing just 3.6 yards per carry, and have forced 4 fumbles. If the Jets want to win this one, they probably will need to air it out, which they've been doing around 63% of the time, for better or worse. Luckily for the Jets, they got Aaron Rodgers a new toy by trading for Davante Adams, so throwing the ball is going to be a bit easier, if not a little more fun. They've got 2 top wideouts and probably the best number 3 and number 4 receivers in the NFL. Breece Hall will probably also need to get a bit more involved in the passing game, as well as Ty Conklin, but I think the Jets will try to stretch the field and spread the Steelers' defense out. On defense, the Jets get to gameplay for 2 very different quarterbacks. Fields is a deadly runner who can occasionally throw a great ball, and has been much better at not committing turnovers this season as compared to his Chicago tenure. Wilson, on the other hand, is a much more polished passer who can occasionally tuck it and run. Wilson looked like he was washed in Denver in 2022, but had a solid year last year before Sean Payton arrived and kicked him out the door. There were a lot of rumors about how weird of a teammate Wilson is, but if he can still play, no one's going to care. I don't think it will matter much to the Jets which quarterback they have to face. They're still going to create pressure, and the Jets' defensive backs will continue to play well. But the real question for the Jets is if they can move the ball effectively and keep Rodgers upright. If TJ Watt goes wild, then the Jets will be in for a long night. You have to wonder if the Jets players will have the same sense of urgency for the season that the Jets front office has, though. They fired the head coach and made a big trade to try to jumpstart the team. The Jets' offense looked good at times against the Bills and almost pulled it out, but the kicking woes, penalties, and untimely turnovers have nearly completely derailed a once promising season. You hate to say this is a must-win game for a team in Week 7, but it definitely feels like one. If they come out swinging, I think the Jets can pull this one off 24-14.